Hello everyone and welcome back to Need a Hand. In this video I'm going to be reviewing both FNAF movies. So if you're not familiar with Five Nights at Freddy's, it is a horror franchise the movies are based on games made by Scott Cawthon back in 2014 to the present. And they've made 2 movies so far. I haven't reviewed either of them on this channel yet, so I'm just going to start off by reviewing both of them. And we'll dive right in. I'm not sure if I've used this already or not. I feel like I did for Fantastic Four, but I might be wrong. I've scored different elements of the movie, such as directing, acting, the effects, the sound design, the music, the pacing, if it's too bloated, not bloated, need more, whatever, styling, editing, plot, characters, world building, humor, and action. I told those all together, found the percentage, and I put that percentage into a range. So S tier is greater than 95%, A tier is 89 to 95, so on. You can see it on my screen right now. As for what each number means, so if they scored a 0, child me could have done better. Like it's a horrible movie. I could have done much better as a child. Like, they don't deserve any points. 1 would be that I could do better just half-assing it. 2 is I can do better with my skill level right now. 3 is they did better than I could at this point in my life, but if I try, maybe I could get there. 4 is I can't achieve it, but it's still not quite professional. 5 is it's passable, like it's not completely unwatchable, but it's not perfect, or like it passes for a professional level movie. 6 is that it's better than your average film, better than a middle of the road thing. 7 is like, good job, I have some notes, like there are some major issues, but overall not bad. 8 is great job, there are some things that bug me, but I don't hate them. 9 is amazing, like the only issues I have are some pet peeves, and they shouldn't be actual problems. 10 is perfection, I have no notes. As you can see, there are only 2 S tier films on my list, and that is K-Pop Demon Hunters and Logan, which are 2 very different movies. But this is just to give you an idea of what I'm thinking. For FNAF 1, when it came to the directing, I gave it an 8. I feel like overall they did a good job. There's some issues, and directing includes like cinematography, how they chose to stage the characters and the actors, different things like that. I feel like they did a good job, but I feel like it could be better, specifically like directing Abby and other things like that. But overall, I feel like they did a really good job with the first film. For the acting, I gave a 9. I feel like everyone acted their part to the best of their ability. The writing is where I have issues. For the effects, I give it an 11. Jim Henson Creature Shop did such a good job with both films. Like the VFX were flawless in my opinion. Like, that's why they got an 11. Sound design, I gave them a 10. If I don't have anything that I can give feedback on, I just automatically give a 10. And with sound design, I don't know enough about it, so I usually don't dock any points unless I can't hear what is being said or any issues like that. And for this one, they did a good job. They had some creepy ambiance, and like the diegetic sounds were really good, so I enjoyed that from the first film. The music for the first film is phenomenal. I had so much fun listening to it. I listened to that theme song regularly. The pacing is rough. Some parts are really slow, other parts are really fast. Having Mike repeatedly have the same dream over and over and over again really slowed things down for me. Bloating, yes, it's a FNAF movie, so of course it's going to be bloated. But for the first one, actually I feel like originally I had a 3. I feel like it's passable in the first film. Like, it's not great, but it doesn't suck, if that makes sense. It could be condensed a bit better. As for the styling, I feel like for the FNAF movie, the animatronics were not scary, like for the first one. The animatronics were too childlike. And don't get me wrong, they are possessed by kids. I understand that. What they need to do differently is, like, for the fort scene, instead of having everyone build a fort together, have the animatronics build a fort while they're just chilling during the day, and then the wrecking crew, or whatever they're called, they show up and disrupt them, and the animatronics chase them and kill them. Like, that, I feel like, would have given both without ruining the tension of the animatronics. Like, once the animatronics did Dance Party with Abby, Mike, and Vanessa, I lost all fear of the animatronics. It's like, oh, so they only attack at their threat. Got it. They're not scary to me after that. Editing, once again, like, I know quite a bit about editing now that I'm doing this YouTube channel, but I don't know a whole lot. So I just gave a 10 because I feel like they did a really good job. I have no notes on the editing of the first movie. The plot is a little convoluted, and yes, it's a FNAF movie, so it's going to be convoluted. And some things were a little too convenient, like, oh, the aunt just happens to hire the babysitter, or, I mean, I guess that makes more sense, but like, I don't know, things just line up really nicely. Like, Mike just happens to be put in the chair and happens to get the bolt taken out, like, things like that, where it's a little too convenient. Like, it's still better than your average movie, but I feel like it could be better, if that makes sense. Characters, I liked Mike. Abby kind of bugs me. I don't know why. I haven't figured it out why she bugs me, but she's fine, I guess. And my camera is having issues, but Vanessa in the first movie, I don't understand her motives at all. She's like 1 minute having fun dancing with them, and then the next minute she's like, you bring Abby back and I will shoot you. It doesn't make any sense. Like, she needs to take a chill pill. And that is indicative of a problem that I'm going to call the drop of a hat conundrum. Like, that is an issue that Scott seems to have with these movies, writing these movies. With the world building of FNAF 1, I gave it a 5. Like, it's passable, it does a good job introducing you to the world, but the cast feels very small. It feels like there's 5 buildings in the entire town, there's not much going on. It doesn't affect, like, anyone. So that's why I gave it a 5. Like, it does a good job setting up stuff for later, but it doesn't do a good job making the universe feel lived in or anything like that. Humor, it's regular Scott Cawthon humor, and I think it's hilarious, so I gave it an 8. Like, it's not the funniest thing ever. Some of the jokes don't land with me, but a lot of them did, and I had a lot of fun hearing the jokes. I thought they were pretty funny. The action is really good. I don't understand how Vanessa's spoilers, I mean, this movie's been out for 2 years, but yeah, I don't know how Vanessa survives the stab wound at the end. That, like, makes no sense, but it's fine. Then enjoyment, this is just where I would put it, like, 10 being, I had so much fun, I want to watch it over and over and over again. 1 being, I hate this film, I wish I had watched literally anything else. I would even watch the Twilight movies, which I have no desire to watch ever. But that's kind of where I put that. And then for the total, I made sure not to include my enjoyment score. So the total in the score is from a technical standpoint, The 7 out of 10 is just how much I enjoyed the film. And so that puts FNAF 1 at a B+ for me. Now let's get into FNAF 2. If you haven't watched it yet, go watch it. I'm going into some spoilers. So the directing, I feel like, was about the same as the first one. In fact, I liked it a little bit more at some parts, and other parts it felt a little redundant because they did the same trick over and over and over again, like jump scares and whatnot, having the puppet jump at your face. And I mean, that's what FNAF is, but I feel like they could have been a little more creative, but that's all I have to say there. Acting, once again, I feel like the actors did the best they could with the characters they were in. The VFX were all phenomenal, especially Shadow Bonnie. That was so cool. Then sound design, it is about the same. It's the same as the original. Same with the music. It's the same people for the music. The pacing is about the same. It's a little quick at some parts and a little too slow at others. Like, they needed to let the Vanessa and William Afton subplot breathe a little more. Like, it ends about halfway through the film, and then they pick it up again at the very, very end, briefly, for like 2 seconds. And I wish that they'd had a more consistent through line, which they did have for the first movie. That was something they did really right with the first one. Bloating, this movie's even more bloated than the first one. And, I mean, they're going bigger, they're going better, and, like, I understand that, but it feels a little too convoluted. Like, I'm a massive FNAF fan. I love the games. I really love the atmosphere of the games. The story is fine, but it gets a little confusing, and it feels like this movie went more towards the confusing side of the lore, rather than just condensing it and simplifying it like they did in the first movie. Styling. So the reason why the previous movie got an 8 and this one gets a 10 is, as I said, the animatronics weren't scary, and I needed them to be scarier. And for this one, it was really scary. I mean, it's not the scariest thing I've ever seen, but I actually jumped. The first movie, I didn't jump once. Jurassic Park, I watch those movies and I jump at least once, usually. And with Jaws, there were some parts where I jumped. This movie, I jumped about the same, maybe more than Jaws. So, I'm like, it's the right scare level for me. I know some people want more gore or whatever. I feel like it was perfect. It leaves stuff up to the imagination, because that makes things scarier. It's why Jaws works so well. But overall, it's much scarier than the first one. I really appreciated that. Then the editing, once again, no notes. In fact, I feel like the editing was a bit better than the first one, mainly because they did more. Like, so spoilers, people get possessed by the puppet. They have, like, the tears appear on their face. Like, I know how they do it, but it was still really impressive and looked really good. And then for the plot, once again, there were several plot lines, and, like, yes, they kind of interwove with each other, but they also didn't. They left a lot of loose ends, and there is a massive cliffhanger, but I don't fault it for that. I just feel like it was a bit clunkier than the first one, but not by a whole lot. Then as for the characters, same thing. They had the drop of the hat conundrum, where in the first film it was Vanessa that was having, like, changing her personality at the drop of a hat. With this one, it was Mike. Like, he starts off wanting to date Vanessa, and then you can tell that there's still some mistrust, and I'll be completely clear, I don't blame either side. I mean, they're fictional characters, but I don't think Vanessa's an evil character, nor do I think Mike is an evil character. I feel like they're more human, which is a good thing. But, like Vanessa in the first film, she didn't tell them a lot of information up front, which led to William Afton showing up and stabbing her. And, like, knowing that information earlier would have helped out a lot, and would have prevented Mike and Abby from being in danger. And so I understand where Mike is coming from, where Vanessa hides things again in this film and is very closed off and won't let him in, and so it's really hard to trust her. But at the same time, with Vanessa, she's dealt with a lot, and it was also stuff that she didn't think anyone would need to know. And so she didn't share it. Like, I understand both sides. I feel like two things would have fixed the second movie specifically. So one, there's a part where Mike and Vanessa are arguing at the front of his house, and he tells her that he's trying to fix her. And I'm like, ooh, that's a nasty line. I don't like that. And Vanessa, rightfully so, gets mad and storms off. I wish Mike would have said something like, I'm sorry, that came out wrong, I didn't mean to say it that way, and still let Vanessa be mad, because then it would feel like Mike's still a likable guy, he just made a mistake, but he did hurt her feelings, and she rightfully so stormed off. Like, that would have solved that. The second thing is, at the end of the film, it is revealed that she has a brother, Michael, who wears a purple polo. But in that scene, Michael is once again told information that I didn't already know, which brings up his mistrust of Vanessa. Like, I understand that, but it's not like she brought Michael to her house or she did anything to cause the harm. And he yells at her to stay away, and I understand that he would want some space, and I totally agree with that. But he doesn't just say, stay away, give me some space, I need a few days to process everything. Instead, he just yells at her to leave him alone, him and Abby alone forever, and to never come around them again, even though literally 2 minutes before she said that he and Abby were her family instead of Michael. And so that's something. Another thing with the characters, I wish that Springtrap showed up more as a hallucination for Vanessa. Like, think of the end scene with Michael versus all of them, and she sees like Michael flash into Springtrap, or Springtrap pops up behind him or something, and then she says her line of like, I reject you, this is my family, that sort of thing. And it would really drive home the theme of like found family and choosing your legacy and your destiny, etc., and would be really good. Like, I feel like that would have helped out a lot. So world building, it does a lot more for the world building. They give us a date for Charlie's death, they introduce Henry, they introduce Fast Fest, so it feels like there are people outside of the 5 main characters. We see the school. Oh, with the characters, I hated the teacher. I wish they would have explained why he hated animatronics so much, just to give us a reason why we should at least somewhat empathize with him, because he is still human. He didn't deserve to have his head squished. But yeah, it is a whole thing. Like, I feel like he need to be a little more likable. Like, I understand you want the people who die to be unlikable, but he needed to be slightly more likable just so we feel bad when Chica crushes him. Although some of you would be into that. Anyway, humor, I feel like it was better than the first film. The first film was a lot funnier, trying to be funnier, whereas this one didn't try to be as funny. And I mean, it still told jokes. I mean, it's Scott freaking Cawthon, but the jokes landed more for me in this one, and they didn't feel as frequent, which allowed there to be a little more scares. I do feel like the scares could have built up some more tension rather than be just jump scares, but they did a really good job with what they had. And then action, like, no notes, they did a really good job. I mean, there's a few parts that don't make sense, like how Vanessa survives a car crash and things. Also, with the plot, there's a lot more conveniences in this one than the previous one, where like Vanessa's car dies, and so she has to get to Mike's house. Then out of the blue, Mike's friend shows up and gives her a ride there. even though we had no idea he was around there or anything. It was just really convenient. And that sort of thing happened more than the first one. It didn't bug me as much. The Vanessa getting a ride thing did bug me, but that's about it. A lot of people were like, oh, it's really convenient. A lot of things were really convenient. I didn't see that, but that's just me. Enjoyment-wise, I enjoyed this so much. I had so much fun. I just had a blast watching it. Like, I know both movies are not highbrow entertainment. They're not Oscar winning or whatever. But I just had a lot of fun. Like, as a fan of the franchise. And I'm not a recent fan. I've been a fan since 2014 when FNAF 2 came out. My cousin took me down to the basement of his parents' house while we were over and showed me the first 2 games, and we sat there playing them for a while, and it was so much fun. I was terrified, especially because my family's not into horror, so I was worried I was going to get into trouble. But I had a lot of fun with it, and I've had a love-hate relationship because of how I was raised, disliking horror. At this point, I don't care. I think a good story is a good story, but yeah, so that would leave FNAF 2 at a B+, slightly higher than the first one. Now, when it came to the second one, like, I had very low expectations going in. My only expectation was that it would be scarier than the first. Like, that was my main beef with the first movie. And it succeeded in that. With the third one, I feel like Scott needs to figure out his drop of a hat conundrum, where he keeps making the side characters just change their personalities almost at a whim without any explanation. Or if they do change their reaction, it feels too sudden and abrupt and harsh. That's something that really needs to be addressed. And I would like a simpler plot for the next film, just because then there's fewer flowing pieces and more people can just enjoy it. That being said, both films are made for the fans, so it's not like he cares about the critics. I hope he does, but it's not like he cares about the critics or the casual audience. He's doing this for the fans, and as a fan myself, I really appreciate that. And I just wish that it was a little simpler with how they told the story. Like, some stuff was really clear, but then they threw in Circus Baby halfway through the movie, and then they threw in the fact that the puppet can possess people, and then they threw in, like, all these different things. And it's like, wait, what? How'd that all happen? And, like, one thing that sets the entire plot in motion that was a massive convenience is paranormal investigators go investigate the original Freddys, and they the girl played by McKenna Grace, I think her name's like Lisa, something like that, she hears the music box over her headset, so she explores and finds the music box and immediately turns it off and gets possessed by the puppet. But if she hadn't turned it off and just looked at it and went, huh, that's weird, like poked her head in the box and just moved on, nothing would have happened. Like, the entire movie hinges on her turning off the stupid music box. And my stupid camera is doing its thing. But I feel like that was just a little too convenient for me. But I still enjoyed both films. I still had a fun time watching them. And the Easter eggs were fun. I loved how in the second film, Mike actually plays FNAF 2 in the movie. I mean, not like he pulls it up on his computer and is playing the game, but like the animatronics are trying to attack him, so he puts up the mask and like flashes the light, that sort of thing. And my favorite part of the second film is he grabs Balloon Boy's head. I think it was Balloon Boy. It might have been Dee Dee. I'm not sure. They both look very similar, so I can't quite tell them apart. But he grabs whichever one pokes its head above his monitor. He just grabs its head, rips it off, and yeets it down the hallway. That was so fun. I love that. It made me so happy. But yeah. And they do a really good job at the very beginning of the movie setting up the surprise during the end credits. So overall, I enjoyed the movies. I know that they are my guilty pleasure, just enjoying a bad movie, but they are fun. Like, I like them a lot. Anyway, that's my review on the Five Nights at Freddy's movies. Someday I'll play through the games on this channel and we'll theorize and things. Oh, theories for the movie. One that I had, so in the Silver Eyes trilogy, book trilogy, it's about Charlotte Emily, and she is a robot, like that's revealed in the third book. Well, kind of the second as well, but mostly the third. And she has memories of her brother being killed by William Afton, and his name's Sammy. But it turns out that Sammy doesn't exist, that William Afton killed her, and those were fake memories implanted by her father, Henry. And I think that we've got a similar situation going on with Vanessa. I think Vanessa was originally Elizabeth, who got scooped by Circus Baby during the dream sequence that we see. Because, yes, that would be terrifying to have your father chase you down with a knife and other things. I understand that. But why that specific dream kept coming to her, my guess is that it's because she was scooped into Baby and killed. But William Afton turned her into a robot. So then, when she got older, she could become Baby. And then she could, like have the spirit of Elizabeth inside her still, if that makes sense. And that the dream we see is a false memory implanted by William. Because it follows the books, it follows what Scott's done before. I don't like it, but I think that's the best way they could handle it, if that makes sense. And with the first movie, like, because she's so drop of a hat, like she changes her personality at the drop of a hat a lot throughout the first film. A lot of people, myself included, think that that might indicate she is a robot. And I know it's FNAF, so Robo Kids, let's pop up the game theory thumbnail and like all that, but like I think that's the way they're headed, because that's what some, like, the circumstances seem to imply. Like, I really wish we got more of the Vanessa and William story, but that's just me. That's my thoughts on FNAF 1 and FNAF 2. I hope you enjoyed watching, and remember to like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, all that jazz, and remember to lend a hand to those who need it. Bye!